Our beginnings were humble. In 1960, we started our journey here. Yeah, that's our office. Our first clients are still with us.
I'm Kevin, and this is Mary.
Hello.
And we established Bell & Fulton in 1952. We were running Bell & Fulton for 40 years, and then my son took over, and he's been running it since. I met Stan in 1960. What impressed me with Stan was his honesty, his personality, and his ability to change a minus into a plus.
We grew fast in the early days and soon had to move to a new building with new clients.
I'm Chris Beretta. I'm a plumber. I work for and manage DA Beretta Proprietary Limited. We're a plumbing and I guess you'd call us a minor civil works company, specialising in water and sewage connections, underroad drilling, hydro excavation. Stan Canny helped establish our business back in the late 50s, early 60s, and has always given solid and sound advice, and now Christine having taken over, we rely heavily on SJ Canning for our accounting needs and advice in investments and upgrading equipment, etc. So we've got a solid relationship, and it's just ongoing for us. Going to work with my dad when I was a toddler, sitting in the passenger seat of the truck. Never thought I'd be running it, and I didn't think it'd be as big as it is today.
We've developed a culture that focuses on the details, helping you achieve your goals, both big and small.
My name's Jeff Broughton. I'm the owner of Jeff Broughton Excavations. It was a very funny story. I was actually looking for an accountant at the time, and I was actually hitchhiking home to Drysdale, and Stan and his lovely wife picked me up and drove me to the door. And he happened to say who he was, and I said, oh, that's good, I'm looking for an accountant. And that's something like 26, 27 years ago, and he's been my man ever since. Most I think about is the great service. They go the extra mile to help you. And Mandy, I can remember most of the things she's broken over the years.
The 90s were an action-packed time.
Hi, I'm Deborah Fowler from Max Action Vehicles. I work in film and television work, and I'm standing here in front of two of our tracking vehicles. It was actually my brother that inspired me, who is a racing car driver, and he was asked to work on a television commercial for a Japanese company that was in Australia. So he did some racing driving in a quarry for 3 days, and afterwards he came back and said, I just had the most fun I've ever had in my life, and we should supply cars for film and television work. So it was a little bit of a joke, I suppose, but from there it's grown into Australia's preeminent vehicle logistics and supply company. What comes to mind is probably my very first meeting with Stan, and I had actually been in business already for around about 10 years, but we'd come to SJ Canny's, as I just said, on the recommendation of someone else, and I remember being shown to Stan's office, and he sat myself and my brother down and had a very serious conversation about the ramifications of being in business. It was really lovely, actually. He obviously cared.
Our relationships have grown so much that we're now working with some of our clients' kids, providing them with the same quality of service we did their parents.
Hi, yes, I'm Brendan Shaw. I've been a farmer most of my life, mainly in the poultry industry. I first met Stan some 40 odd years ago. My brother-in-law and I started rearing some potty calves, and that was quite successful for a number of years, but then as time marched along we got a good income out of that, so then we had to find an accountant who could get those books balanced and get the taxes paid and so forth. So we contacted Stan at random. It was out of a book, or a telephone book. We contacted he invited us around to his house, which was in Belmont at the time, and we were very impressed. It was very laid back, very efficient, very good, and we felt very comfortable with that. Not only did we have a good business relationship, we also had a lot in common, particularly racehorses and football for that matter. Stan was involved with Geelong at the time. but he was also a very keen racing man, as we were. So we hit it off very well, and as time progressed, we've stayed with Stan and his company for many, many years, and we've been very grateful for that.
Hi, I'm Belinda Shaw and I have the Belmont Hotel. SJ Canny sort of got passed down to myself and Heath through our family as such. Dad was with SJ Canny through his business and had been for a long time. So Stan, when I had the Bannockburn Hotel, Stan thought he'd send out a lady called Christine to me because he thought that myself and Christine would be a good mix. So, and 17 years later, he was correct. They're sort of like counsellors. No, they are. Well, they are. Christine's been fantastic over the 17 years. She's had lots of phone calls from me and worried about things, but I think that they're extremely professional, but they're sort of also very caring. They know small business and they're just happy to help out, even if it's sort of after hours. Sometimes for me it has been, and they're just a good all-round fit, I think.
Our industry has changed over the years, and so have we. The one thing we won't change is our attention to detail, personal service and advice to give you the best possible results.
Hello, my name is Scott Bradley. I'm the Managing Director of XLB Group Proprietary Limited. At XLB Group, we support our clients by integrating tomorrow's technology with today's people and bringing the world of telecommunications to life. XLB started in 2004. I chose SJ Canning because it was referred to me by one of the local business people, Karen Fairchild, and she's been with them for a long time, and I've only been with SJ Canning for about 3 or 4 years now, and they have really saved and turned my business around. They're absolutely fantastic. I was at difficult times, XLB was at difficult times when we first came across. My previous accountant actually disappeared into thin air, and the ATO were chasing me, and Chris and Gabby turned it around, and it's been fantastic. They've really turned the business around. They do so much for me already. I think we've got the formula for success now.
My name's Julia Menzies. My husband and I, Stuart, are franchise partners of Grilled Warn Ponds. We started our business in June 2014. It was an absolutely crazy day, our first day of trade. We gave away burgers for 3 hours for free, and in those 3 hours we gave away over 700 burgers. And the next day of trade, which was the first day of trade, we sold 1,200 burgers. So the start of our business operating in Warn Ponds was absolutely mental. It was really good. The biggest lesson that I learned when starting the business was that you've got to have your support set up around you. What I mean by you've got to have your bookkeeper in place, your accountants in place, and also have all your processes and systems. You're familiar with all their work. We didn't have the right accountant and the right bookkeeper in place, and we really paid for it. Now that we do, we're loving it. Favourite memory of our business so far was about week 4 after we started trading. My husband Stuart was working from 8 a.m. till 1 a.m. every day. He came in after the 4th week with a bottle of champagne. He could hardly stand up, and we had been, for the 4th week in a row, we'd been topping the country for the highest sales out of all of Grilled in Australia, so out of about 90 stores. He was so happy, but he could hardly see and he could hardly stand, but it was fantastic. We chose SJ Canny because we were looking for a new accountant, and we spoke to other businesses in Geelong and were recommended Mandy and SJ Canny through our friends. We interviewed 3 different accountants, and we knew Mandy was going to be who we were going to go with. We were very impressed.
And just be careful of the step here. This way, Claire, just be careful of the step. Mary, just mind the step here, thanks. Come through, Jacob, just mind the step here. Come through, Ron, just mind the step here, okay?
Even though some people have left, our future is bright and full of possibilities.
Words of wisdom, perhaps he gave me more than that and I could give to he, but the words of wisdom would be just keep doing what you're doing. It seems to be very successful.
Well, what I would like to say to Stan, that we work to live, not live to work.
We are building a brand new facility. And we are now announcing our new group, Canny Group. We're expanding to better service all your needs. Since 1960, we've been growing together. Now let's see what the future holds. Canny Group.
So I've been working with her as well. So there's all these different avenues sometimes Christine comes up with that I don't think about. So yeah, they sort of help you along there. Well, because I'm working very hard. Don't get a lot of time. Is this really just going to be laughing on the phone?
And that's it. That's all.